Hey, you. Welcome to or welcome back to Motivation Maven. I'm Keisha and I'm thrilled you're tuned in this morning. This is a sub episode of the Preventive Mental Health show where we're focused on motivation and inspiration to guide you through the week ahead. So, with that being said, let's just dive right in. Now, I know, well, I should say, I hope you had a great weekend. I know I did. Anytime that I can say that my weekend was jam-packed with seeing friends and family, it's a good weekend. So I hope you had a good one too. Now, if you are not religious and you did not partake in this past weekend celebration of Easter and Resurrection Sunday, don't worry. There's a place for you here today. The lesson that I learned this past Sunday, or I should say the root theme we went over and I learned this Sunday is absolutely applicable today, and not from a biblical perspective, but from one of practical application. So that's what we're going to really talk about today. So this past weekend in my church, the end of the sermon had across the screen, "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid." And I love that. In fact, I started to smile immediately, because when you can embrace life and move about life not being afraid, there is this level of freedom that's unmatched. It's just unmatched. So what does not being afraid truly mean in the sense of our daily lives, practical application? It means the thousands of decisions and choices that we make each and every day, if we can have the freedom to make those decisions without the weight of the world's opinion on that decision, but it truly being what we want to do, that's the level of freedom I am trying to encourage you to in this moment. It's recognizing that if you fail, it's okay. If you win, it's okay. There's a larger plan to where you need to be, because there's a lesson in the losses and there's a lesson in the wins. But if you don't pursue what it is that you want to do out of fear, then there's no lessons anywhere. You can't learn from the win. You can't learn from the mistake. You don't grow. You don't mature. You don't develop new skills, new ideas, or new opinions because you were fearful of even trying to step forward. It reminds me of children, and adults are nothing more than older children. Listen, like at the end of the day, I think we're like, I'm an adult, I'm astute, I can't have fun, I can't play. It's just not the case. That's a choice that you're making. But one thing that I found, children are a really good example of lessons that if we learned when we were children, how I assume the direction of our lives could be so different, but somewhere along the way, we lose out on the lessons that we were taught so many years ago. Looking at my boys now, I know that if there's something they want to do, and if they're a little scared about it, they immediately start to make excuses. I don't want to do that. Oh, this hurts. Oh, that hurts. Or just flat out no. But the reality is, as parents, we normally say you can't say you don't like something if you don't at least try it. Whether it's food or an activity, we're like, at least try it. And if you try it and you hate it, then you don't have to do it again. And I don't know about you, but I can tell you 9 times out of 10, when my boys try something, they end up liking it. Again, it runs the gamut. Whether it's food or an activity, they end up liking it. But as an adult, we don't always have somebody there saying, you can't say you don't want to do it if you don't at least try. It could be going up for that promotion at work. It may be volunteering to take the lead on a big project. It could mean stepping out of your comfort zone and joining an organization or volunteering in the community to try to just, network and meet new people. It could be as simple as saying, something, I'm actually going to provide some self-focus and buy something for myself. Do something out of the ordinary that's away from the day-to-day grind that I'm doing. It seems so small and you're like, all right, that's silly, but it's not. It's not because there may be something right now that you want to get and you're like, oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm not saying get yourself in debt. I'm not saying that. But if you can afford whatever it is that you want to get, what is it that's stopping you from getting it? What is it? Is it that shirt or that blouse that you want, but you don't think it's age appropriate? Even though you absolutely just love the cut and the color and the way it looks on you, but you are just so focused on what society says that you have to look like and dress like. Or with the new styles now, maybe you don't want to dress like everybody else, but all your friends dress that way. So you just feel pressured just to kind of follow the crowd and dress the way they do. You're too fearful to say, you know what, I'm okay if I don't blend in. I'm going to do something different. It's okay if I purchase this thing if it makes me happy. And I'm not going to worry about what the world thinks I should do with whatever that XYZ item is. If you can move in a sense of purpose and omit the fear, it's just a different way of living. It's a different way of living. We can get so caught up in other people's opinions of us. We can get so caught up in seeing the end of something and we're not seeing it in a positive light. We're automatically going in the direction of negativity because we don't see ourselves succeeding, but we don't actually know if that's true unless we try. Unless we try. I can tell you right now, and I say it all the time, I'm not a fan of running. I'm not. I love being on my Peloton bike. I have moments where I get in the groove and I'm like, okay, I don't mind being on the treadmill and just knocking out, a couple miles. I get in those seasons, but you're not going to see me on the road running 20 miles. I'm just not seeing that. Is it fear? Is it something in the back of my mind, in my subconscious mind that's telling me that, am I fearful that my heart can still handle it? Or could I just feel like, you know what, even though all of my friends are like marathon runners, I don't have to be, and that's okay. And I don't have to worry about missing out. I could still be there to enjoy and to celebrate their success. But if I'm not a part of that journey, it's okay because it's not my journey. We get so caught up on wanting to be on someone else's journey, and we've talked about this before. We get so focused on being on somebody else's path that we forget to be on our own. Because we're too fearful that our path may be too difficult, but the reality is our path was tailor-made for us. But we get caught up in fear. So when we get scared, we try to find an easier route. When things start to get hard and difficult, we try to find an easier route. Or we just quit altogether. But if we can be okay with being uncomfortable, if we can get to the point and say, look, whether this is a win or a loss, I'm winning because I am learning and I'm growing and I'm developing, that's a great way to live. So the quote for this week is the following, and it's one that I've definitely used in the past, but it's a lesson that we have to constantly remind ourselves. It's from Henry Ford, and it goes like this. One who fears failure limits his activities. One who fears failure limits his activities. If you are so caught up in failing, you won't go after what it is that you want. And because of that, we limit ourselves in our future, in our overall progression. So my challenge for you this week is, what is it that you may feel fearful about? That if you press into it, you may win, you may lose, but knowing and understanding that regardless, you're winning. What would that be? What would it be that you are scared to pursue right now? What is it that you want to do, but you have people in your ear telling you that you can't do it and it's not a good idea, even though it's what you want? What is it? I can't tell you what it is. Only you know it. So take that time this week and start steps to pursuing those goals. I know I always say it's not easy, or I should say it's always easier said than done, but I don't want to say that for this week. I think this is an easy one. You're set aside the fear. So that's just do it. Just go. Start. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about trying to explain it to anyone else. In fact, if you don't think that you have the support system that you need to be successful and or to continue to have motivation to do it, because there may be people and places and things in your life that may deter you or discourage you, don't tell them. Yeah, don't tell them. Just go do it. If you're like, this is the year that I'm going to seriously put my health first and I'm going to start working out, but you know that you've done every program out there and you have not succeeded yet, and you don't want to hear all the naysayers going, oh, here we go again. Don't tell them. Go change your behavior. Don't say a word. Do whatever it is that you want to do and don't say a word. I was reminded last night from, I was having a conversation with my dad and my aunt. I'm telling you, any time that you can have conversations with people who love you and genuinely want to see you succeed, there's always so much goodness in those conversations. And they reminded me that not everybody wants to see you succeed. And I'm going to tell you, that's disheartening at times. There are people that you love, people that you feel like you've been in their corner for decades. They may not be in yours. And it's sad and it's uncomfortable. But if you move at the pace of you, and if you move at the will of your hopes and dreams, if you move forward without announcing every step, remove the distractions, remove the fear, remove the doubt, and just go do it, you will be amazed at what you can accomplish. So again, I hope you had a great weekend. This week, I think every week is difficult because we just don't have any clue as to what's ahead of us. But this week, dive in, pick that thing, because you already know what it is, and start. This week, not next week, not let's wait for this or that. Start today. And one more thing that has absolutely nothing to do with what we discussed today. Today is April 1st. It is April Fool's. Be careful what you listen to, where you go, and what you're doing. I've already put my family on notice. Do not try to trick me at all. Don't do it. All right. So with that being said, and that warning out there, let me remind you again, for the quote for this week is, one who fears failure limits his activities. If you can omit your failure, you will blossom. And whatever the outcome, you will grow. Till next time, remember, you are worthy of the life you want to live.